Hello guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am Passioknit Kelsie and welcome to this very passionate vlog. For today's video, I am going to be making a specific project, and if you saw the title thumbnail, you probably know it is the Sophie hood. This is a pattern made by Passioknit. It was added to Ravelry in December of 2024, so I guess it's almost a year old. And now is finally the time for me to make one, I guess. Now, this is the Sophie hood, not the viral Sophie scarf. And the main reason is that I don't actually like the Sophie scarf very much. I think it's just too little. It's kind of weird. It's more like an ascot. It just never really intrigued me, you know? Even whenever it was going viral, it still is very popular. Just not my style. And it specifically needs to be my style because, unfortunately, Passioknit does not allow resales of their patterns. So even if I made it and I didn't like it myself, I cannot sell it on my website. So instead, we are making the Sophie hood because I've been looking at it, I've been thinking about it for a while, and I've decided that, yeah, I probably would wear that. So here we are. I purchased the pattern last night. I haven't opened it or looked through it, but just looking at the actual hood, it looks relatively easy, right? Like most of it is garter stitch. It's pretty much just like a triangle, so I'm assuming we're doing increases, making the little head portion, and then doing decreases on the other side. Or I don't know, maybe you do increases on both sides and then like connect it on the hood. I have no idea. My personal favorite part about it is the edges and how they look so clean. So, I don't know, I'm intrigued. Yes, my name is Passioknit Kelsie, and I do quite a bit of knitting here and there, I guess, but I wouldn't say my skills are great, grand. I definitely need to work on my knitting, so I believe I will learn a few things in this pattern. With all that said, let's get started. All right. I have the pattern open. Oh, interesting. There are 3 sizes. It comes in a small and a medium and a large, which I don't know why I thought it was one size. It's a hood scarf. One size makes sense to me, but small, medium, and large, cool. I'm gonna need 5mm needles. Let's just start with these. Might need to transition to bigger ones later. Ugh, I hate it when a pattern lists specific yarns and doesn't just tell you what kind of yarn to use overall. I'm not going to go buy 250 grams of Eco Cashmere Vintage by Jeopard, I don't know. Can you just tell me like a weight? 350 grams Alpaca Wool by Sandness Garn. 300 grams Cashmere Charas by Pascali. 300 grams Snefnug by Kama Rose. 300 grams Isagar Soft by Isagar Yarn. Okay, so we went through the trouble of putting in 5 different yarns with all of the different grams and all of that, but we couldn't write down just like a yarn weight. So I'm gonna have to Google this to find out. We're gonna have to look up the yarns and see what it is. Nothing. Okay, the first one says it's a DK. The second one says medium worsted. Third one says light DK. The first one says bulky. That can't be true. Okay, so I guess our range is DK to bulky, which is a big range. I did have some yarn in mind for this, which I pulled out this morning. I got this from Joanne whenever it was dead and dying. It is premium yarn KC Superwash Wool Luxe. It's 100% superwash merino, fine wool. This says it's a 2-weight, right? But like, look at it. Be so for real. That's a 2-weight? Are you really a 2-weight? Let's be honest. So I would like to use this, and I have 5 of them. I guess based on the other yarn approximations, that's definitely enough. I have no idea if this is the right size of yarn, because the sizing of the yarn is just all over the place. On this label, in the pattern, I don't even know. I guess we will knit a gauge swatch, which I usually wouldn't do for a scarf, although this one does have a hood. The gauge swatch is 17 stitches by 30 rows, and that is supposed to make a 4x4 garter stitch square. So let's see if we get anywhere close to that. Okay, team, 30 rows and one YouTube video on how to count rows in garter stitch. We have our swatch. Wow. Okay, so according to the pattern, this should be a 4x4 square, or 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. So that is right on. And this is also 4, but it is for like including the needle. You see that? Is that how you do it? Am I supposed to cast off after 30 and then, yeah, I think that's fine actually. Well, even though our yarn claims to be a 2 weight and the pattern is not super clear on what yarn weight to use, we have ended up with a perfectly fine gauge swatch. So that is great. Love that. I love that. Although I will say it is a little bit thin. You see that? It's a little see-through. Which I don't love, but hey, we met our gauge swatch and I really wanted to use this yarn, so I'm gonna ignore that. Okay, I'm so glad that was a one and done process. Now we can get started on the actual pattern. Let's see. The Sophie hood is worked in one piece from tip to tip. It is worked flat, back and forth in garter stitch with built-in I-cord edges. Oh. The hood is shaped using increases and decreases and sewn together at the end using a mattress stitch along the back of the neck. Okay, that's what I didn't want to do, but fine. It goes on to tell you about the increases and the decreases that are used in the pattern. And then it starts. The I-cord edges is what I'm intrigued about. That's what I really want to know. Okay, and so it begins. Casting on my Sophie hood. I have a feeling I'm gonna need to use this row counter. Especially because for me, personally, counting rows on garter stitch is really hard. I mean, I literally just watched a video on how to do it, but still. And if we're gonna have to be doing increases like every certain number of rows, it's gonna be a lot to keep track of. Let's see if I can do this. I think I can. Let's see if I can do it well. Row 1. Row 2. Okay. Row 3. 6 rows. Now, I will definitely be learning some things today, such as KFB, knit front back. What is that? I don't know. We are about to find out. I'm gonna watch a tutorial.
You can see that there's a front loop here and a back loop here.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have your KF.
Easy. Okay, nice. I am currently on row... Well, actually, the row counts just started over, so I'm on row 2, which is actually row 8. And I think I'm doing good. Yeah. Although I do definitely notice that I'm knitting a lot tighter than I was on my gauge swatch, so I'm going to try to relax a little bit. It's a new pattern. I'm learning new things, so I always tend to be a little bit tight on my tension. So, yeah, going to work on that. But another thing, the I-cord edging tends to pull on the stitches a little bit, so like maybe that is what's making it feel tight. I'll have to see just what it feels like overall once we get more of these increases in and it starts getting wider. Okay, now is the point where I need to decide if I'm making a small, medium, or large. I think I'm going to make a medium, and that's mainly because I feel like I'm knitting tighter than the gauge swatch, and yeah, I don't know, that's my only reason. Also, medium just sounds good. It's right in the middle. All right, cool. It's basically a bunch of repeats now. The hardest part is going to be keeping track of my rows and row counts and making sure that the increases are evenly spaced. Do you see it? Do you see it starting to form? Now, so far so good. I feel confident. I am 9 increases in, I think. I can already say the hardest part about making this for me is going to be keeping track of my rows. I already feel like I can't watch anything. I don't think I can listen to music. I don't think I can take this with me anywhere if we leave the house. I'm going to have to sit here in silence and make sure that I am counting my rows every single time, every row, obviously. Because 8 is just too much. If it was a smaller number, like every other row or every 3 rows, I'd be fine, but I just can't do 8. My mind wanders too much. See, I'm talking to you guys and I forgot to pop my little bubble thingy. I was right in the beginning about the stitches feeling tight just because of the I-cord edging. Because currently, on the edges, my stitches still feel a little bit tight, but whenever I'm knitting across the center on the garter stitch, it feels perfectly fine. So I think it will match my gauge swatch, which is great. The I-cord edging is a dream. I really like it. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It just makes the most nice round edge you've ever seen, and nothing is curling or anything like that. It's just awesome. Now, obviously right now I am in the easiest part of the pattern making. I'm assuming once we get up and around the hood area, it's gonna be a little bit harder, but I don't think it's going to get much harder than this. So overall, this is very, very easy if I knew how to count. So I'll be here knitting this, trying to keep count and do my increases evenly spaced. I'll probably stop and eat lunch soon, but as of right now, I am enjoying the process. Forgot to count. Okay. Oh, it's making stripes? Ooh, I didn't notice that because I've been staring so closely at it, but now that I see it far away, it is striping. I know it doesn't look like I've made a lot of progress today, and honestly, I also feel like I haven't made that much progress. But Caesar and I left the house to run errands for probably like an hour and a half to 2 hours. We got home and my brother asked to play a game with us, so we played a game for probably another 2 hours or so. And like I was talking about earlier, I cannot work on this and keep count while I'm doing other things. So I didn't take this with me while we were running errands or while I was playing the game because, let's be honest, I wish I could have worked on it more, and I could have, but I just can't keep count. So this is our stopping point for day 1 of the Sophie hood. Based on the number of stitches that I'm up to on the increases, I think I'm like halfway-ish. It's only 8 o'clock right now, so I'm not going to bed, but I have to stop because staring at this so intently and counting over and over again in my mind is, first of all, making my eyes hurt, and second of all, giving me a slight headache. So I'm just gonna go have a snack and watch TV for the rest of the night. Yeah, we'll continue tomorrow. Hello, welcome to day 2 of the Sophie hood. It's where we left off last night. Not too bad. Today we will be continuing our repeat. I have quite a ways to go before we have to change anything about the stitches or the pattern, so I will work on that. I'm hoping to get a good amount done today because I feel like yesterday was lacking. So to start our day, why don't we talk about selling finished products from patterns? So before I actually bought this, I was just thinking about it and wondering, and I posted on my Instagram story kind of a question because I couldn't find it online. I just asked, hey, does Petite Knit like allow sales of finished objects from their patterns? And the answer was no, I found out, because someone sent me a screenshot directly from a pattern that they already had. And in the pattern, it says you're not allowed to sell any finished products. So anyway, I shared that to my story afterwards because some people wanted to know as well. And I was just like, ugh, bummer, you know? But many people messaged me to tell me that you can definitely still sell finished items because legally there is no way for the pattern writer to enforce that. They own the written pattern. They don't own anything that you make with your hands, basically. And yes, I already knew that. I know that. I've heard that a lot. It's around. But as a pattern designer myself, I usually tend to follow that anyway, just because I don't want to step on anyone's toes or make anyone angry or, I don't know, get canceled. I always try to respect the pattern designer's wishes, so if they don't want me to sell finished products from their pattern, I try not to do that. It's not something that I agree with. You know, I don't put that in my patterns. I actually put in my patterns that, like, feel free to sell anything that you make because I believe if you made it with your own 2 hands, even if you didn't design it, you should still have the right to sell it. So, you know, thanks for all the feedback in my DMs, but just know that I still will not be selling these if she doesn't want us to. I did get a lot of suggestions for a dupe, but it is for the Sophie scarf, and like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm not really interested in the Sophie scarf. But it might be a cute little piece to like sell in the website. Who knows? Just thought I would address that because I know we're going to talk about it in the comment section. Since I've been working on this, I have added a stitch marker to the wrong side of the work because anytime I do an increase, I should be looking at the stitch marker. So just kind of like help me keep on track, even though I am counting. This is just to double check myself. And I think it's going pretty well so far. There have been 1 or 2 times maybe where I forgot where I was. At one point I thought I was far enough into the pattern where, I don't know, maybe I could watch something while still keeping track of my rows, but that was wrong because I got messed up so quickly. Even right now, while I am talking to you guys, I am diligently paying attention to my count popper. I'm going to try to remember to rest my eyes today because yesterday my eyes were killing me by the end of the night. I'll stop every once in a while and look out the window or something. I don't know. Maybe I could listen to music. Give that a go so that I don't sit here in silence. Let's get to knitting. As you guys can see, I am definitely making progress, but this is so boring. I did manage to listen to some music, so that was nice. I am able to not use my counter, but I have to sit there the entire time going 2, 2, 2 all the way across the row. Otherwise, I will forget and lose count. It's much faster without the counter, having to pause in between every row, even though like it's a relatively fast action, like stopping and pressing a little bubble button thing, but still it takes me out of my flow. Anyway, the pattern says to do this until we reach a certain number of stitches. I am 10 away from that, so I have to do, 80 more rows? 10 more stitches and increase every 8 rows. Yeah? Wow. Okay. A lot. But I guess that is a good thing. I do want the scarf portion of this hooded scarf to be very long because I love long scarves. I am going to stop working on this very soon to have a late lunch. And then, of course, I will continue working on it after I eat. I want to get to the hood portion today because I don't know if I can handle a third day of straight boredom. I'm hoping the hood is like a little bit better. Hi guys, it's nighttime. I was about to say I have not reached my goal, but I actually went past my goal, which is not good. Although in the pattern it says the width is the most important, not the number of stitches. And I only went 1 stitch past the increase numbers, so we might be fine. I'm gonna have to make note of that for the other side so it's symmetrical. Wow, okay. I'm paying so much attention to this pattern that I'm not paying attention to the pattern, you know? It says it should be 25 centimeters wide, and it is indeed 25 centimeters wide, so that's fine, I guess. Let me just read this. Let me just read the pattern. So, unless I'm missing it, interestingly enough, the pattern does not tell me how many rows I'm supposed to have right now, or like which row I'm supposed to stop on, you know? All it has is the number of stitches you should have and how wide it should be. And then your row count just starts over. So what I'm doing right now, I guess, is I'm going to finish working out my 8 rows because it is an 8-row repeat, because that will be easiest for me to match up on the other side, I think. Although I haven't, seen the instructions for the other side, so I don't really know. But I did, in fact, reach the hood for today, which is what I wanted, so good job. I did take a lot of breaks. My eyes feel totally fine today, which is nice. I took my dogs out a few times. I stopped for lunch and dinner. I could have got more work done today, but not worth it, honestly. If I worked on it all day, I probably would have gone crazy. Well, I am going to see myself to bed. We shall continue tomorrow. Hello guys, welcome to day 3 of working on the Sophie hood. Here is my progress level. I've officially made it to the point where we can start the hood. So that's what we'll be doing today. I do have other things to do, so I'm not exactly sure how much progress we're gonna make, but do my best. This is a little yarn update. We still have a good amount left on my first donut, so we might not even need a full 2 skeins of this. Now, let's get started. We're gonna be needing a stitch marker. Okay, so we're putting the I-cord edging on hold. I'm thinking this is gonna be like the back of the hood, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to sew like the back of the head together. And later we'll connect the I-cord edging like in the round or whatever. Maybe. So it looks like the hood portion is going to be easier because there's no increases, but I still need to keep track of my rows. I will be utilizing my poppet and chugging along.
Looking like I was like getting behind or overwhelmed, she would go, "What are you thinking about killing another one of my customers right now? What are you doing?" And she just said that like, you know, probably 5 or 6 times throughout the night. Anytime I was getting stressed out, so it was fun. It was a fun job, but it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Shout out to that restaurant. I love that restaurant.
People get stressed in those kind of...
I've completed 33 rows of regular, and now it seems as though we're gonna do some shaping for the back of the head. So it's going well, although I am gonna have to take a break sometime soon for lunch. Doing straight up rows with no decreasing, increasing, or anything like that, much easier. We'll see how the rest of this goes. You see the hood forming? It's curving. Hello, I am back. Although I didn't really leave, but I am back. We went to this Asian style convenience store. They have like this big selection of ramen noodles and oh my gosh, they had a bunch of other stuff. They had all these topping selections, red bean buns, pork buns. I got this like fish ice cream thing. They had the drinks in the bags, and then you get a cup of ice and stuff. And you make the ramen at the place with these machines. Anyway, it was really good. So I'm back now, and I will continue working on my hood. I feel like I've been making good progress today. We are in the middle of rounding off the back of the hood. Should have a couple more rows of that, and then we'll start building the round back out. I think what it's going to do, it's going to dip in and then it's going to go back out. And then we'll sew them together to make the back of the head. So that's what I'm imagining, at least. Yeah, I feel good. I'm just going to be working on this for the rest of my night tonight, and I will let you know. We should be running out of yarn soon. I am hoping to get most of this hood portion done. And then, I don't know, maybe like 2 more days finishing off the rest of the scarf portion. I always underestimate knitting, especially knitting with such small needles on such a big project. So we'll just have to wait and see. I have officially reached the midpoint of this pattern. And I was right. From here, we are working pretty much a mirrored image all the way down. Here's what it looks like. Fun. I'm nearly out of yarn, but it's doing good. I think I'm going to attempt to move downstairs and sit in Caesar's room while he plays a game. I have been successfully listening to a podcast, so I think I'll be fine as far as following the pattern and counting and increasing goes. Or decreasing. Well, I guess we'll be increasing for the hood and then decreasing the scarf. Either way, it's happening.
Okay. So she's pretty much done. I don't know the channel I can easily do that. I guess I can put her in freeze.
Hello guys, welcome to day 4 of the Sophie hood. This is how far I got last night. We should be done completely with the hood now. We're gonna fold this up, put these stitches back on our needles, and then continue down to make the other triangle. and eventually we'll sew the back of the hood together. Now, the first triangle, pretty sure took me 2 days. So we may have 2 more days on this project. I'm gonna start working on this right now, but in about 2 hours, I am gonna be heading to my grandma's house to help her with some cooking, Thanksgiving prep. So I probably won't get a lot done on the project today, but I'll do my best. I don't know when we'll be done and when I'll be coming back, so this thing has been super helpful. Ever since I started making this hood, I've been seeing other people make it on my social media because obviously my phone is listening to me and tracking my purchases. And I'm thinking I could have used a thicker yarn. And I also want to make it in a solid color, but I don't know if I want to make another one. It's a lot of work. I very much like the fact that the I-cord connects in the back of the neck so that it's just one continuous I-cord all around the back and you don't have to sew it together meticulously later. Now, I'm pretty sure this is the point in the pattern where on the other side, I wasn't clear on like what row I was supposed to stop at. So I'm wondering if this is going to tell me how many rows I should do like before I start decreasing. Because if it does, then it really should have a corresponding number for the other side so that they match up. If I'm reading it correctly, it says to do 7 rows before you start the decreases. At least for my size medium, which I'm pretty sure was not specified on the other side because I did 8 rows. And I just did 8 rows just cause. I think that'll work though, actually. Because it was 8 rows, but row 1 had the increase on it. So if I do 7 rows and then the 8th row is a decrease, then that matches up. Okay, sure. Well, we are back to pretty much regular knitting, just keeping track and counting and doing decreases every 8th row until we get all the way down to the point. So, yay! I know the hood is obviously a smaller portion of the pattern, but I liked it a lot better. It felt like it was going faster. There was more changes in the pattern and it was just easier for me to follow. It was not as repetitive, so I enjoyed that part.
You think that big?
Yep. That's so much easier than trying to roll them up.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, you keep learning things even after at 76. Because I figured this out last year.
Hello! I am home, I am fed, and I am ready to continue working on my Sophie hood. If you can see, this is how far I am, and we have exactly this much left. Still just working on the evenly spaced decreases, so nothing really exciting is going on. Although this part is the best part because as you go, the rows just get shorter and shorter, which also means they're faster and faster, and I love that. I'll be working on this as much as I can for tonight, and cross our fingers, tomorrow should be the last day.
When everything makes a lot more sense. Not everything. This is just a very specific thing, actually. But have you ever seen those videos of like choirs singing in a really old giant cathedral, and how like
I am getting so So close. I really want to finish it tonight. It is 10 p.m. so I'm getting tired. You know what? Let me find out how many more rows I need to do and decide from there, because that will probably dissuade me. 14? 14 times 8? Do I know how to do math? I need to do 14 more decreases, and you decrease every 8th row. Is it? It can't be. It can't be 8 times 14. Well, that's pretty long, actually. Yeah, I can't do all that. I think that was like my first day progress. Okay. All right. Guess I'll finish it tomorrow. I'll do a couple more rows and call it a night. Hello guys, welcome to our 5th and final day of the Sophie hood. This is where I got to last night, so as you can see, we just have a little bit more to go this morning. After we reach our point, I think that the only thing left is to weave in our ends and sew together the back of this hood right here. I, for one, am excited to be done with this project and move on. It's been 5 days. I rarely ever spend more than 1 day on a project, 2 days, 3 days. Once we get to like 4 and 5, I'm really starting to feel like I am wasting time. And I don't like that. Don't like it at all. I've got other things to do. I've got videos to make. I can't spend all my time on a project, especially one that I cannot sell on my website. So right now it is morning time. I'm hoping to get this done and be able to do some other things today. Done. Almost done. Okay, I am going to mattress stitch this baby together, weave in my ends, and then we'll be done. Done. Looks all right. Croissant. Friends, we have officially one Sophie hood. It's done, it's done, it's done. Ends woven in completely. It is 100% finished. Both of my ends are the same length, so I'll call that a win. Does your hair go in front or? All right, hood, scarf. What are you supposed to do with your hair? There's too much. I look ridiculous. Okay, maybe it goes in the back. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure that this is my second ever hooded scarf that I've made. I like this one much better than the first one that I did. And I think this might be perfect because I am cold. I'm always cold in the winter time. I do not really like winter. It's pretty, but I hate being cold. It's like deathly painful. I don't know. But I never wear hats, and that's mainly because hats mess up my bangs. If you have bangs, you know. So I usually wear a scarf, but no hat. And then my ears and my head get cold, but my neck is just fine and warm. But with this, I can have a head covering. I can keep my ears warm and my neck. So like head warmth, ear warmth, neck warmth combo, but my bangs are fine. So here it is with just one like wrap. And what I've seen a lot of people do is they wrap it to the front again and then like either leave it like this or like tie it together, but I don't know. I don't know about that. I feel like I look a little silly right now because I don't have a big puffy jacket on, but here is our project. I wish the scarf part was longer. I made a size medium and I probably should have made a large. Whenever I was starting the pattern, I didn't realize that that was really just the length that they were talking about because the hood size is the same on all of them. I guess I could just leave it down, you know, with the hood on. Here's it with hood off. No wrapping. Cute. Final thoughts as far as the looks go. I am happy with it. Wish it was longer so I could do more wraps because I love wrapping and wrapping and wrapping my scarf. You can wear it with and without the hood and it still looks good. And you know what? I'm happy. I'm happy to keep this for myself. Might even be inclined to make another one for a Christmas present or something. But do I want to work the pattern again? Which, speaking of, brings me to the pattern. The pattern itself is written in an interesting way. It's not bad. It's just fine. It's not the best pattern I've ever seen. There are generally no photos throughout the thing. There's just a finished product photo at the beginning and the end. Photos are not always necessary because this is a very simple project. It's basically increasing and decreasing. I was happy to learn a few things and expand my knitting knowledge. I now know how to do an I-cord edge that looks awesome. Very exciting. Other than that, I pretty much already knew how to do most of the things. I might have done a few refreshers watching YouTube tutorials and stuff like that, but that's pretty normal. On the decreasing part, I did change something because in the pattern, it was asking you to do this interesting technique called an SKP for the decreases. Let me try to show you this edge. So right here, you can see the decreases, right? It's here and here and here. And I don't know, I just thought that they like stood out a lot. You can see them spaced out. So somewhere around like this point, instead of doing the SKP, I just started doing knit two together. And I feel like it looked way smoother and better. I don't think that they stand out as much as the other ones do. So, yeah. Technically, that is the only thing that I changed about this pattern. Other than that, here we are, 100% Sophie hood. Overall, I would recommend the Sophie hood pattern if this is something that you are interested in making for yourself and you don't mind a bit of a tedious project. Let me know what you think of my Sophie hood. Do you like the colors? Are you happy with it? What does the back look like? I don't know. I haven't seen it. But that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope that you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content in the future. I sell all of my finished products, patterns, and merchandise over on passionategoods.com, so check it out. And that's all I have for you guys, so I will see you next time. Bye!